Some big news this morning. New Zealand will be the host of the FIFA Women's World Cup in 2023 in a joint partnership with Australia. The Trans-Tasman bid beat out that of rival Colombia by 22 votes to 13 at the FIFA Council meeting in Zurich early this morning. It marks the first time ever the women's tournament will be held in the Southern Hemisphere. And we're joined now by New Zealand Football Chief Executive Andrew Pragnell and Football Fern Annalie Longo. Good morning to you both. I imagine you've probably had quite a late night.
Yeah, very long night actually. It's still going.
This is fantastic news, and I wonder if I could start with you, Annalie, for the players, for someone who I think you played in the Under-17 World Cup here. What does this mean?
Yeah, it's just absolutely amazing. The opportunity that it brings for the exposure to New Zealand, and as a player, you just couldn't have a bigger dream as a kid to play in a World Cup in your country. So, yeah, over the moon to have it go our way, and just looking forward to the experience in the next couple of years, preparation and getting ready to host the best World Cup there's ever been for women.
And give people a sense of the scale now of the women's game and the women's FIFA World Cup. Given the huge success in France, things have really developed in the last few years, haven't they? This has become a massive tournament.
Yeah, definitely. It's growing continuously over the years, and I think last year you saw with the Women's World Cup final, there was over 260 million people watched that game. So just to put that into perspective, there's so many people now following women's sport, and yeah, it's a fantastic opportunity for us in New Zealand to host such a prestigious event.
Andrew, talk us through, how did New Zealand and Australia win this?
Look, there's probably a long story that sits behind this. Way back, actually, when New Zealand hosted the Under-20 men's competition, they began to get interested in hosting a tournament of this nature. It's been a long time in the making. I think one of the critical moments, though, was the tournament expanded from 24 to 32 teams, and that actually made it largely impossible for New Zealand to host it on its own, and that formed a really important partnership with Australia, and one that we both got in behind, and was founded on a true sense of partnership. And actually the whole premise of Asia Pacific and Asia and Oceania getting behind this bid was really, really critical, and I think that's what you saw in the voting.
Okay, talk us through the breakdown of how it's going to work, and so how many games New Zealand gets. We're obviously not hosting the final, but we get the first game.
Yeah, we get a standalone opening game at Eden Park, which is enormously exciting. I'd expect to see that sold out, to be honest, based on the growth of this tournament, so that's enormous. At the end of the day, FIFA will determine the final content split, but we should get roughly 40 to 50%, around 45% of the content, including a semi-final.
And the pool games, they will be spread out around New Zealand, will they? We get half of those?
Yep, they're spread up right down the spine of the country. So Auckland, Hamilton, Wellington, Christchurch and Dunedin, with training centres out to the side of each of those too. So a good spread across the country, and the whole country gets to experience the event. Annalie,
you'll be hoping that New Zealanders will get in behind this. Are you confident they will and can adopt teams and really get a buzz going?
Yeah, hopefully they adopt the Football Ferns. That would be the dream. But definitely, I think it will draw a lot of people from overseas, and I think it will draw a lot of people from our own country to come in and get behind the Football Ferns.
Let's talk about the Football Ferns then. So you're ranked about 22nd in the world at the moment, which is a lot better than the men's, I should point out. But you'd be looking to develop ahead of this. You've got a couple of years now to get that ranking up, get more games. And I guess what would the goal be, to make it into the knockout stages?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think this year's obviously been a tough year with travel and restrictions and things like that. But moving forward, I think playing internationals is key. So as soon as we can do that, I'm sure you'll see the team going overseas and preparing and getting ready. First and foremost, we've got the Olympics hopefully next year for the team, and then moving forward, obviously into the World Cup. So I think we take one kind of step at a time, and obviously getting in the group stage is a must for us. And then going beyond that is obviously the dream and the goal to win a World Cup. Everyone wants to do that.
Andrew, the development of the game in New Zealand, this would be huge for young girls and women's sport. Where does it sit at the moment in terms of numbers playing and that sort of thing?
Yeah, so there's roughly 30,000 women and girls playing the game across the country, and growing. So it's one of the areas that's growing year on year. But we'd like to see, an equal number of women and girls playing the game, and there's no reason why there shouldn't be. So yeah, look, you're going to bring some of the best athletes from around the world, so amazing role models, and then sitting behind the whole event is a leverage and legacy plan that's going to grow female administrators, female coaches, female referees. So hopefully it's a big shot in the arm for that side of the game.
Annalie, just coming back to this issue of what this means for New Zealand, I mean, some estimates put the last World Cup TV audience at over 1 billion. So it's a pretty big audience to be playing in front of. What is that sort of? How does that make you feel when you think about that, the global audience, just how big it is?
Oh, it's massive. It's grown hugely, and I was fortunate enough to be back in the team in 2006 and to watch it grow. It's huge, and I think it's only going to get bigger. And that's what we want. We want females out there playing sport and being healthy and fit, and then hopefully playing football would be the dream.
Now, talk us through. You were up, stayed up all night, I take it, with a couple of other players, was it, to watch the announcement live?
Yes, we did. We had the nervous wait. We're all kind of in anticipation waiting. But yeah, it was a nervous sit there and watch the votes kind of go through, and then the announcement was obviously in our favour, and a good celebration and a bit of champagne to celebrate.
Tell me, was it what was the emotion? Was it relief or was it surprise?
A little bit of relief, if I'm honest. You kind of never know what's going to happen with those things, so definitely a little bit of relief, and just really proud of all the efforts, and a big thank you to everyone behind the scenes that have worked really hard to make the dream come true for many of us.
Andrew, for the country, obviously we're in the grip of COVID at the moment, and fingers crossed, we just assume, let's hope, that we're through all that and we're out the other side of that and we've got a vaccine. But in terms of tourism and profile for New Zealand, this will be massive, an audience of 1 billion.
It's massive. It really doesn't get any bigger, actually. And actually, the way the event's going, it could be our last chance to host it in terms of its growth. So, yeah, economic impacts estimated in excess of about 180 million. By way of example, some of the teams, the US team had a fan base of 30,000 travelling with it in the last event. So the types of numbers you're getting through are enormous. So let's hope that obviously the borders relax, and or rather there's measures in place to control the current situation, and it can go ahead as planned.
You've got some money, I understand, about 25 million or something like that from the government to assist.
Yep. We'll be working with them over the coming months to understand, how much of that fits into the event, how much of that can fit into the leverage and legacy plan, and other aspects of the event. So that's exciting, really exciting. Now
the stadium. So would all the main centres be? Is it all the sort of key rugby stadiums, I guess, that are used at the moment? Eden Park, Hamilton, Sky Stadium, that sort of thing.
Yeah, the key rectangular stadiums and right down the country, absolutely. So, Eden Park, Hamilton, Waikato Stadium, Sky Stadium, Christchurch, and of course Forsyth Bar.
Annalie, these games will be played in the middle of winter in New Zealand. How do you think some of the teams might cope with that?
Yeah, I mean, probably, to be fair, it's probably favourable conditions for most people. We've had to experience playing in the heat, all the time, and it is really tough. So probably coming to New Zealand is probably actually quite.
You think they've played in 50 knots in Wellington before?
That could be a wee challenge, and that will go into our favour. So we'll definitely use that as an advantage if we can.
And Andrew, what happens now? There's a lot of work to do. This is interesting because it's only the one cycle, isn't it? Often with these World Cups, if you think of the 2011 World Cup for rugby, there was a long lead-in period to get ready. There isn't actually that much time for this one.
Yeah, you're right, actually, and it's something we'd like to see FIFA look into, a bit more forward planning in that area. So these events are awarded in the same way that the men's are, with a much longer lead-in time. But nevertheless, we'll probably be into discussions on Monday. The first 6 months is the initial operating phase and setting up the governance and the operations, and then I guess there's a lot of recruitment of workforce and the like. So exciting days, but the hard work starts now as well.
And the Australians, I seem to recall back in 2003, it didn't go that well when we had a Rugby World Cup. We lost rights. So, I mean, it's very important that you work well with them, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Football Australia have been great to date, and it's been formed on a solid partnership. So I'd like to see that continue. Because
it's interesting, Annalie. I wonder if this makes a difference with playing. You're in different federations. So Australia's in Asia and we're in Oceania. Does that make any difference? And it's quite unusual for a World Cup to be split like this.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we have great respect for the Matildas, and a lot of us are teammates and we play in club teams together. So, there'll be a little bit of rivalry, and obviously if we get them throughout the tournament, we think it'll be a great matchup. But, I think it's a great opportunity for both countries and to be able to work together and put on a real showcase. I think it's great that we can work alongside a different federation and really kind of give that experience to all. So, yeah, it's a good opportunity.
Just before we go, Annalie, what would be your message to New Zealanders, perhaps some young aspiring players out there? What would you say to them this morning after this news?
I think it's just get behind it, get behind the team and the Football Ferns and follow the journey, and we hope to see you in a few years' time and really put on a showcase for the world.
I'm sure New Zealanders will embrace it. Congratulations, it is fantastic news. That is Andrew Pragnell there, Chief Executive of New Zealand Football and Football Fern, Annalie Longo.